What does it mean to dream of a deceased grandfather buried but still alive at the end of the hallway in a house? Listen to find out. All the names are always made up. Pseudonyms given to me by the people who send the dreams in. And I love this one. This is from Truephena. And she says, I was in a stranger's house with a friend of mine. She's close to me like a sister. Now, you don't tell us what she's like, but always if you do send in a dream and you have a friend in the dream, tell me what the friend is like, what her traits are like, good and bad. Especially if she's positive in the dream, tell me what they are. If she's negative in the dream, tell me what they are. And here it's negative. But let's go on with the dream. She says, the house was a bungalow style and has a long hallway with multiple rooms. At the end of the hallway, there was a wall and a graveyard engraved. The grandfather was buried there. The grandfather had been deceased for more than 10 to 15 years. I noticed that his toes wriggled and slight breathing, which signified that he was somehow still alive. The family assisted in a hospital bed and he was now on IVs and oxygen machines. I was also in a family room sitting on a sofa with the hosts. They are of African heritage and so am I. I asked why the house did not represent the African heritage and I was told that they tried to stay neutral and not focus on being black. The man of the house said he wants to raise his children that way without specific culture. I suddenly needed to have a bowel movement. I went behind the couch and pooped. Yep, that's what she says. I went back and sat down and the poop smelled so bad. And everyone was looking everywhere for the cause. I felt embarrassed to say it was me. I quickly went with a plastic bag, picked it up and went to the bathroom to dump it in the toilet. No one saw me. I later noted my friend was on an IV pump, eyes closed, but she was able to speak. We later left the house when she felt better. And that's the dream. So let's dive into it. Stranger's house with a friend of mine. So this house is about... when you're in a house, it's about you in the womb. We already know that from the next piece that's coming up. So a dream that starts off in a building or a house is you in the womb. When you leave the building, that's a symbol for birth. The house was a bungalow style and had a long hallway with multiple rooms. At the end of the hallway, there was a wall and a grave engraved. The grandfather was buried there. So that says that your male side took a serious hit while in the womb. We all have male and female energy flowing through us. And life indeed is about restoring the balance of male and female energy within us, the Chinese yin and yang. So this dream says that from your time in the womb, you lost connection with your male side. What is male side to do with it? It's lots of things. And in my book, I list all of them. But here it's going to be to do with creativity. But it's let's leave it with creativity. The other things, I suppose, about male energy are confidence, belief in yourself, feeling worthy of the space you occupy. But there are many more. But here we're going to say creativity because of the bowel movement later on. And so you've lost connection with that side of you or suppress it. And the dream is going to give us an indication later. The grandfather has been deceased for more than 10 to 15 years. So that's going to go back to the earliest time in your life. It's not ages 10 to 15 and it's not 10 to 15 years ago, although it's very likely something else happened in your life around that time that also caused you to realize that you suppress your creativity. But dreams exaggerate, so this is going to go back, to like age 1 to 1.5 years. I noticed that his toes wriggled and slight breathing, which signifies he was somehow still alive. Well, this is good and is typical in dreams. The family assisted in a hospital bed and he was now on IVs and oxygen. So he's on life support, but it's really saying your male side is on life support. It isn't a warning about death or anything like that, but that you are neglecting it to a degree. And you need to rejuvenate it, need to breathe new life into it. And this is where your friend comes into the picture. What is she like? Does she have a talent that she suppresses? Is she very creative but yet doesn't use it? And answering those questions to yourself, looking at her traits, is going to be really positive. If she does have an amazing creative side and does not suppress it at all, then that's still the same thing, because it's telling you that you have the potential to have the aspects that she has. If they're positive. And then you're sitting in the family room. So this is family influences. So it's family influences that have impacted you. And you're with the hosts. The hosts are mom and dad. They are African heritage, so am I. So this brings in your culture. I asked why the house doesn't represent the African heritage. And they say they try to remain neutral and not focus on being black. The man of the house says he wants to raise the children that way without specific culture. Well, this is what you need to do. You need to fix. This is what he's avoiding in the dream. Whatever's being avoided in a dream is something you need to face. So you've got to integrate your heritage, your culture, and don't suppress it, because the man in the house is suppressing it. He's saying he's doing it for a good reason. It's never a good reason. So you have to not suppress it yourself. And part of this suppression, it's connected to the man in the house. So this is where the issues come from with you. This is why your male side is suppressed. Issues with dad. You need to work on issues with dad. You suddenly needed to have a bowel movement and went behind the couch and pooped. So that's good. That's about eliminating everything that just happened beforehand in the dream. And that is the male side being on life support and the suppression of your culture and suppression of your own male side. So that's a good thing. But everyone, anyway, the smell is so bad, everyone's looking, and you're embarrassed to say it was me. So this is one of the things you need to overcome. Again, it's connected to dad. You find difficulty putting your hand up and saying, hey, look, I created this. Here in the dream, it's about going to the toilet. And if you have kids and you're old enough to have kids, think about how kids are so delighted when they're finally able to use a potty in the living room, which is, we know this is where your dream goes back to, but that's the only time you would ever go to the toilet in a living room, is when you're a little child. And anyway, children are so proud of their creative act. They want to show it to everybody. And parents' reaction to their creativity can set them up for suppression in later life. And that must be what happened for you, because you're embarrassed about your creative act here in the dream. This sounds very Freudian and Jungian, doesn't it? But anyway, not usually where I go. You got the plastic bag, picked it up and went to the bathroom and dumped it down the toilet. So plastic is an unnatural substance. So it's not natural for you to suppress this part of you. That's something you've got to fix. And nobody saw you. So you're happy nobody saw you. But we want you to be out there front and center. Remember I said male energy is also about feeling worthy of the space you occupy. So you've got to work on that male side, work on the issues around dad that caused you to suppress it. You later noted your friend was on an IV pump, eyes closed, but she was able to speak, and you left the house when she felt better. So again, it's the granddad at the start of the dream. Now it's your friend on the IV, on life support. But really, it's all about you. Everybody in the dream represents an aspect of you. So the dream is in a roundabout way saying, look, you have your male side on life support. Please breathe life into it. Please work on the issues around dad from a very young age and get to the point where you are happy to show up in the world as you are and as creative as you must be for it to be shown up in the dream the way it does here. But that's very good. Thank you for sending the dream. And I love your pseudonym. You did it. You just listened to a clip from the Dream Interpretation Podcast. Please like, subscribe, and share with your friends. If you want to listen to the full episode, go to the dreaminterpretationpodcast.com, where you can also find all past episodes and how to submit your dream to the show. Thank you for listening.